Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Double Jointed. Sorry for the 5-6 minute delay. I apologize. It was because I was having some technical difficulties getting the live stream to start, so I apologize. So we have got a packed show. It is going to be huge today. And you guys are probably wondering, oh, dude, like, where's Greg? Well, Greg's at ZoloCon. And so what I needed to do is I needed to find, like last week, I needed to bring in some backup because I can't do this alone. What I had to, I couldn't just fill Greg with anybody. You got to fill it with somebody who can fill that space. Right. So, what I decided to do was go out and reach out to the Cabal community and try to find somebody who's not very active, somebody that not a lot of people know, and who are not really familiar with his face or his voice or any of his channels. And basically somebody who just really needs a spotlight shined upon them. So that maybe more people can learn about them. That's really what I wanted to do. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring in this person. Y'all give him a warm welcome for those of you who may not know him, and say good morning to this gentleman right here, Lance, all the way from Lansing, Michigan. How's it going, Lance?
It's good. This is my first time on YouTube. I'm a little nervous, but it'll be fun. I'm excited.
All right. Sorry, I went unavailable. Wasn't available. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Trevor. So let's say hello to everybody in the chat this morning. We've got Heinrich Hoffman, who's like us at the house and not living it up at ZoloCon. We've got Grumps this morning. Hey, how's it going, buddy? We've got Charles coming in. Glad you can make it, buddy. I appreciate it. Charles is like, I'm lost. Greg is lost. He is. Here's Trevor, 1-6 shooter. He wasn't available. Yeah, he's loving it. Yeah, somebody who we don't know. That's right. How you doing today, buddy? How's it going?
Doing excellent. I'm excited to be on here. Now that I know how to find your channel and find the show, this has been my favorite YouTube show for the last month or so, and I've been talking it up to everybody. So yeah, super excited to be here. Yeah,
thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I couldn't think of a better person to help fill in. We've got Andy. He's on a train this morning all the way to his new location. So, buddy, he's got a whole adventure ahead of him. He's a whole new life is planned. So he's making the big move today. Yeah, he's on the train. Choo choo. That's right. We've got Blake, Recon Rage. Good morning. And then, yeah, of course, Heinrich says, hi, Lance. Mm-hmm. Send the link, baby. Yeah, I'm going to. Let me do that real quick. I'm sure Lance can help us fill the dead air while I do that. Let me get him a link.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. It's been a huge week, a lot of news. We got a lot of things to cover. And it's really, the weekend's just starting. I mean, Toy Fair starts this weekend. That's going to run for the next several days, and I know there's going to be some surprises from that. But man, it's huge, crazy news so far. So it'll be a fun one, and I'm sure Greg's going to give us some inside scoop from Zolo. Maybe see some stuff firsthand. So
yeah, we have a big show planned. Yes, we're going to do the commercials real quick. We got kind of like sets the mood for the day, breaks the ice, gets us all warmed up, get some people in the chat. And then what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to go live. We're going to go live from ZoloCon. We've got boots on the ground. We've got Brian Carr, Greg Smurber, and Terrence St. John. They're buying all of it up. Terrence already sent me a picture of his hotel room, and just gauging it, it looks like he's already spent a couple of thousands of dollars here. What was in his? I am not even joking. Like he has. I counted no less than 25 headhunters in his hotel room already. So he's doing the Lord's work, So let's get to it. Greg, I just sent you the link, buddy. We're going to bring you in right after the commercial. So let's get to it. Let's check out the first commercial. Oh, and another special shout out. All commercials today were all sent in by our very special friend, Heinrich. He sent me all of these throughout the week. And thank you so much, buddy, because I was running tight on time this morning and I needed the assist. So thanks for coming in clutch.
Imagine you enter the world of the Shogun Warriors. They're on the move. There's Raideen with Delta Wing missiles,
Greg, this is for you, buddy.
Shooter, and Mazinga with a rocket launcher. The Shoguns. Imagine you command them to defend freedom, protect justice, and challenge evil. The Shoguns. They're ready to strike when you are. Shogun Warriors, Mazinga, Dragoon, Raideen, equipped with their own gear, each sold separately from Mattel.
Dude, do you catch this right here at the very beginning where it has the date on here? It's like 1976. Dude, that was the year I was born.
Yeah, that's the old one. So
that is an old school commercial right there. I was born in 76, so I know Greg's got it.
I never had these, but I didn't even know that Mattel did these. That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't have these either. This was before my time.
I've seen them and I've heard people talk about them, but I didn't know it was done by Mattel.
And man, there's such a huge fan base for these because they're made today and they still look identical to this. And Super 7 has that whole line of like this size, like Shogun Warriors that they've done like an Optimus and a Skeletor in this style with like the chest that come off. You can see the gear inside. It's incredible that the love for this line has exist. I mean, it continues today. So yeah, I know Greg's a big fan of these. He bought one of the SH Figure Arts versions when we were in Legions Con. On that Sunday, we went into New York for the day, and he bought one at the show. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg. I don't know. I think this is what you bought, something like this. All right, let's get into the next one.
It's Bionic Bigfoot, new from Kenner, and the $6 Million Man.
Look out, Steve! You'll never beat Bigfoot. Oh yeah, this'll stop him. Synchronic circuits! Give up, Bigfoot! Bigfoot never gives up.
Bionic Bigfoot, new from Kenner. $6 Million Man sold separately.
I love this. I love that they couldn't come up with like a better person for the $6 Million Man to fight. So they just like, here, you fight Bigfoot for no reason.
I think I've seen that guy at Legions Con. I'm not sure. No.
Yeah, Heinrich sent me these, and I said, I wrote him back. He goes, I would love for like new figures like this. And I was like, didn't Super 7 do reactions of this line? And he's like, yeah, no, I don't think so. And then I looked back, and I very distinctly remember like reaction size figures being made recently. And I looked back, it was 2014. It was a company called Zinka Toys. And they made them. They were like 5 POA, that same size, 3 3/4 inch. They looked just like reaction, which is why in my mind I was thinking reaction, but they made 5 or 6 characters, but they made $6 Million Man in that tracksuit, and they made Bigfoot. And they run about $50 on eBay because I was looking at them just to see. So $50 to $60, not bad.
It's the new Star Wars Land Speeder.
Wow, looks like it's floating. Man, people are coming. It's up to Luke Skywalker and his land speeder to get us out.
Action figures each sold separately. The Land Speeder has a snap-open space hatch, and Star Wars action figures R2-D2 and C-3PO fit right in back.
Looks like Bigfoot's chest.
Fancy. Activate spring glide wheels. The Force goes with us. Yeah.
Kenner's new Star Wars Land Speeder. Action figures each sold separately.
For some reason, I'm not sure if those are the droids I was looking for, though.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it was the droids for sure. Let's see here. Sorry, I do not mean to neglect the chat. We're going to jump back to you guys, but on location, who we got here?
Schmerbs.
Man, there is some craziness going on in the background. Say hello. I want everybody to.
Hey guys.
Hey, there's Brian Carr.
Brian got Brian Carr. And we got Jackie's butt right here.
Look at Jackie's butt has got it going.
We're having some beers.
We're having beers. Is it even noon yet? No, it's not.
Somewhere. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cheers.
How are you? How are you? Cheers, guys. Look, I got some coffee right here. Cheers. Cheers. Dude, we're going to be talking that. We're going to be talking it. I love the meme. I love the meme that's going around. It's Conan for people who hate He-Man. It's He-Man for people who hate Conan, and generic barbarian for everybody else. Let's look at Greg's hand for the rest of the show. Just look right at his palm. Look at
guys.
Let's tell his fortune.
Look at that.
Okay.
See that one crease is his fortune line. All right.
It's his love line.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
This one
I'm
is
so glad
it's empty. There's no lines on it.
He's done. He done rubbed them lines off. How are you
Brought to
guys
you
doing?
by-
Coors Light.
Where's mine? We're doing good. ZoloCon is 10 times better. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. 10 times better than what?
Is 10 times better than the previous. The size is huge. Like I've compared this venue to Batman Begins when he gets the tumbler and he's driving in that giant warehouse. That's this venue. It's freaking massive. It's crazy. There's kind of a pinch point with the elevators and the people trying to get in to the venue. So there's people that are having to wait. But once you're inside, it's just toy bonanza. It's insane.
Yeah, that's
Toy.
a lot like Heroes Con that I go to in Charlotte, North Carolina, when I table for my comic books. The venue is massive. It's huge, just like you're talking about. It's a massive convention center.
Yeah.
Like if anybody's been to the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, it's like that. It's massive, right? It's like an airport. But there's a choke point. You know, you have to go down these two escalators right there at the doors, and it bottlenecks everybody.
That's how this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're trying to get people through, and they're blocking the elevator, and it's kind of chaos. But can I say something? That your choice, Mark, of co-host, I don't think this guy's done shows before. He doesn't really look familiar, but he seems like he's doing okay. I mean, he's a decent, he's able to talk and, articulate. So, hopefully this kid's got some mileage, got some legs on him. And
it's Lance from Lansing, Michigan. I just found him. He was in the Cabal, Didn't look like he had a lot of followers, that people didn't really know who he was. Green behind the ears, wet behind the ears.
He's got some raw charisma though. He might fit in.
He really does. Brian, how the heck are you, buddy?
Shucks, guys.
Brian Carr right here. Brian Carr.
I'm just following Swerves around.
Dude, Brian, thank you so very much, buddy. You got me one of those, or you're getting me one of those barbarians. I can't thank you enough, man.
No problem.
Yeah,
Terrence and Greg, everybody's doing the Lord's work. You're buying for everybody. I've already seen pictures of Terrence's room. Holy crap!
Are there limits on that barbarian?
Yes, they're only letting one per time, one pass, and then go back in line. But Brett, for somehow, I don't know, he ends up in front of me and then behind me, and he's got like a wagon of full. I mean, that guy. He's putting those Treadway kids through college. That's all I gotta say.
Very
all
nice.
I gotta say.
I don't think I ever want Brent to like saunter up behind me. I'm not sure I would appreciate that.
I will do a hot take news flash real quick while I'm on. Headhunter is gonna sell out. Once again, they didn't make enough, and like he said, we've got 2 cases left. And I bought 14, which is there's 25 per case. So they had 2 cases left, and there was a line that was stretched. So hopefully everyone pre-ordered their figures and it's getting shipped to them, or has contacted me or Terrence. Because or you're gonna have to wait till retail. But it's an awesome figure. Not as awesome as the legendary Barbarian.
All right.
So I'm sure Terrence is gonna have a.
We've got some pictures and we're going to talk about it, but if you want to open him and talk about him, if you want to do that, go right ahead. It's up to you, man.
Should I open?
If you want to.
You guys talk.
Hey, wait a minute. If you're going to be doing an opening, hang on. This is like our version of Forrest Horseman o'clock explosions. I gotta play it.
So the back, I don't know what it says. You guys can read that. I cannot.
Your camera's a little blurry, but if you can't read it, if it's in English,
Okay,
there's
I'll
a
give it to
problem.
Brian. Brian's got a beautiful singing voice.
Yeah.
I'm going to lob it to Brian, and he is going to read it while I do some unboxing. I can't even unbox it.
Nothing
exciting.
nothing but high quality programming here, people. It's
I'll read.
Yeah, you read that.
You open.
I'll open.
Okay, you ready, guys? Here we go. Barbarians have been a staple in high fantasy since the earliest days of the Genere. And these muscle-bound warriors were also part of the mythic legions from the very start of the line. The original Barbarian Builder kit from the first wave of Mythic Legions remains one of the line's most popular releases. And the Legends of Mythos include barbarians like Atlas the Conqueror, Juno the Crusher, Bolthor the Tower, and more. As part of the 10-year anniversary of that first Mythic Legions wave, which debuted on Kickstarter on February 2015, we decided to revisit the Barbarian theme with a special release, the Legendary Barbarian. For the Legendary Barbarian, we sought to create an archetype warrior that would fit in with your existing Mythic Legions collection, or work well in any high fantasy setting, whether he is fighting a den of skeleton warriors, engaging a raiding party of bloodthirsty vampires, or standing against the brutal might of a fully grown frost troll. This legendary barbarian is ready for adventure.
he's
And they did have trolls. They did have trolls for sale.
Greg, I just got to say that one of my favorite things is having somebody read stuff to me, and you did a great job. So.
The archetype. But everything
Still
else,
good,
man.
Still good. Anytime that I don't have to read.
Oh, is this a new?
No,
That's not
That's
new.
beautiful.
That's not new.
That was a mag.
Yeah, that's a repaint.
Okay.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
What about this?
Yeah, that's a dwarven
What about
sword.
this sword
I
that
have
we
a
have?
couple of those. I love them, but I don't get enough of them, so I'm glad he comes with that. Thing looks brutal.
Got a shield.
Yeah, I don't have enough of those, so I'm glad.
And he's got hair.
How does the hair plug in? Is it just like a little slot that it goes into?
It's not.
It's like the top of the head key.
I'm going to show you right now. So here's the head sculpt. If I can find the camera.
Okay.
Cool.
So is it
Super
bald headed? Is he
physical.
bald on top or is it keyed? Is there a key?
God damn it! Where's the camera? At?
Yeah, it's key.
Oh,
at the
okay.
top.
Yeah,
Okay.
Does he have ears or no ears?
No ears.
No ears. No.
Just like
And then you take the hair. Yes, no ears. That looks freaking
beautiful.
amazing.
Beautiful.
Look at that face.
That's awesome.
Look at that, guys. God damn. I was looking at myself for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, he never does that.
I was just
Nah.
thinking, man, that's a great looking figure, but I was looking at Greg too. So
Yeah.
Thank you. You'll go far in this.
I seen
Look
I
at
seen
that.
the recognize
Look
that
at
guy from somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Looks kind of
Yeah, a little
familiar.
Looks
bit.
like
Yeah.
he hails from the land of Eternia.
Maybe.
I think I saw that guy running around New York.
Don't
recently.
ask Mark. Don't ask Mark. Yeah, about the new He-Man movie. And then we've got kind of a Sumerian, like a little
Oh,
I
barbarian
seem to
thing here.
recognize that guy too.
Yeah, he looks fantastic.
Looks kind of familiar. And then we've got the classic. Thank you, sir. My lovely assistant, Brian.
Hello.
She's beautiful. Thanks, Brian.
Mm.
Lovely assistant.
Yeah.
Look at
Knockout.
that. You know, the funny thing was, I was sharing you guys were sending me pics and I was sending Curtis pics. And the first thing Curtis said was, he goes, dude, are those swappable beards? Is that
I
soft
thought-
goods?
I thought it was because I saw the main head that comes on it, which is that helmeted one, and I saw that other stuff in the package, and I was like, "Are there beards that you can swap out?"
And then I was like, no, I think it's like
I mean,
the
you could
He-Man
use
and
the dwarf.
Conan heads. They're turned around backwards, maybe so you couldn't see the likeness. But then
Mm.
somebody's like, oh, there's a head in the corner. They fit it's hair for that. I was like, I didn't even see the head in the corner. So
They did use my legs.
of course,
They did scan my legs
at
for.
Legion's Con, yeah. And look at those beautiful brown boots, man. People are going to be using those parts like
I
crazy.
couldn't tell you guys.
Now, does he have a lead foot like you do, or is it they're just plastic?
Just plastic. Plastic.
You know, I'm just gonna
Got an
toss
exclusive
something
right
out
here.
here. I'm just gonna toss this out. It's just an observation that I
Oh,
made.
boom boom hole.
Look at that. You could put a tail on that guy. Pin the tail on the Barbarian. We play that every year at my
Or a
birthday.
tail will come out of the fire.
All right, I'm gonna throw out something that I just happened to notice, and I'm not trying to stir the pot, and I'm not trying to start mess. But
Not at all.
listen, a certain company came out a couple years ago, and they focused on lizard and snake people. I'm not going to say any names. And then the Four Horsemen, they drop a snake man. Just saying, and a lizard man. They okay. They come out. They drop one. Now another company that's really good with soft goods and throwing in like so many accessories that you'll never ever use. Really good company. They drop a Conan figure, and then here we go. Four Horsemen. They're like, hey, hold our beer. So I love it. I actually love the fact that I'm going to have three different like Conan figures on my shelf, or three different like lizard and snake people. I'm all about it. I like the idea. I love anytime like a company is like, oh, you can do that. Let's see what we could do with that. So it makes me happy.
He's quite pungent.
I love the parts on here. I mean, we've got the pauldrons from Poxus. You've got that waist piece from Vorthog. The boots. We haven't gotten those boots with the bear.
These boots look great.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just phenomenal. So,
can you pop on the Conan head and let us? Oh, are those new horns, or have I just never seen somebody take the side horns and put them on the front of this guy?
They look new to me. Yeah, they look new.
because I think those ports on the front are a little bit different size than the ones that we've gotten on the sides. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
Okay.
Are they new to Mythic?
They might be new to Mythic. Yeah.
I want to see this Conan head on here, man. This looks incredible. I'm ready for.
I think you mean the black hair.
Yeah, the black hair, nondescript barbarian head.
It's coming. Yep. Patience, please. We asked for patience.
The not roadblock. I mean,
yeah. Whatever we can do to avoid any type of lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at Brian.
He's got a little bit of a caveman vibe to his face. Like he's very man,
rugged. Yeah.
He kind of looks like a missing link.
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry, that's Greg again.
Dude, this guy is fire.
Yeah.
And Greg, am I correct, or am I? Does this figure have the double joints, or is this all single joints?
I wouldn't say no. I would say they're the regular
joints. Yeah. Okay. For some reason in the package pictures, I don't know. It looked as if, the picture of him standing up, it looked like maybe these had the double joints, and I thought, well, that's genius, because they did this with the Valiant Knight, right? Like they give us the Valiant Knight a year before Necro, right? And it's got all of like the extra like cutouts on the body, for the added articulation.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like a brilliant move, right? Like you tease the new parts that are coming a year in advance, and I thought, well, that's must be what they're doing here, is they're giving us the double. Okay, but I'm wrong. That's just regular. Okay.
Can
I get some embiggen?
Let me embiggen you. Yeah.
Heinrich said it needs some some barbarian pants. I think the Frankenstein's creature pants that we got would look great on that figure. Kind of tuck it in above the boots.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
My man comes with some shackles.
Look at that. I
He's
love that.
Shackles.
Those new
like when a third Cimmerian got out of the cave, and he had his sword and he hit the shackles and the shackles fell. And then the wolves ran up on him, and then he had furs.
I'm glad that Chris pointed out that those are Poxus's pauldrons, because I love those pauldrons on Poxus. They're some of my favorite pauldrons.
And Poxus is not a cheap figure to be tearing apart just to get those pauldrons. So,
no. What is it? $70 to grab one now?
9 hands? Oh, 10 hands. 10 hands. Comes with 10 hands.
Wow.
It's a lot of hands. It's handsy.
Very handsy.
Yeah.
Just like Greg, and after a couple drinks.
A little bit. I can't help it. I can't help.
Hey, and this comes from experience because I literally have shared a bed with Greg. So I'm just saying.
Won't be the last.
It won't be last time. Yeah.
Won't be the
We had
last.
to at Legion's Con had to take a nap together. And I was standing in the room. Both guys are asleep. It's Andy is asleep in one bed and Greg's asleep in the other. And I'm like,
let's save some for the
oh,
imagination.
okay. I was like, I had
Let's,
there
you know,
choices. Choices
yeah,
had
let's
to be
save
made.
it for the Patreon.
Heinrich there says
know.
this is the figure I could use for Thundar the Barbarian custom. Heck yeah, with those boots. Like that
Dude.
is so Thundar. It's not unreal.
You wouldn't have to do much. It would yeah, this is a really nice figure. I think I need a
Give
few
him
more.
I'm
like
gonna go back to the
sword
chat and
with
see what
flame on
everybody's
it.
saying here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jeremy did say, I think, that they're going to be at a lot of the shows that they're going
I
to.
saw a
So
thing where
don't
he
worry.
said they were going to be at the live shows, but I don't know if that includes the street teams because then it had a link to all the shows that they're going to be at, which includes the street teams. But I don't know if they're going to have this figure at the street team. So
I can ask,
That would be
or
great.
somebody wants to send a
That'd be
message.
great.
Yeah, you got it.
because I'm going to Mesquite
Sure.
and man, I would love to be able to purchase this there.
I will see your handsome visage
true.
there.
And I also will be at Toylanta at the end of March. And I know that these will be there too. So please, I want to be able to return the same favor that Greg and Brian and Terrence are providing to me. So if anybody needs these, hit me up, send me some cash, and I will pick up as many as I possibly can at Toylanta.
You take feet pictures though too,
I
right?
also accept any pictures of feet or Curtis in the shower.
Okay.
Any of those, I'm here for. Do any of you have a headhunter close by that you could show
Yeah,
off?
we don't have one to open.
Oh, okay.
Get up, come on.
Okay, Brian has graciously given his to open. So we're going to open that baby right now.
Before bed last night, I watched Purple Gang Gang's review, which looked as if he was reviewing it in the trunk of his car, which I appreciate. Mobile reviews. Time to go mobile.
That's Choo Choo Production right there.
Choo Choo Productions. That's right. Yeah. Trevor said, headhunters, let's do it. Like he needs to see them, right?
Well, he said that his contacts weren't responding for the headhunters. So if anybody's got one, Trevor's looking for one. So,
Oh, here we go. All right. I'm going to get back to the, hey, Baba Chuck, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm late getting to all this. We got a lot to go through, and I want to make sure that I highlight everybody. So let's Big and Brian. Car time.
Here's the
ooh,
main.
And we don't have that belt
The main
yet,
event.
right?
Nice.
That belt piece isn't, that's not out yet, is it?
No, it's got like little pouches on the back. I don't think I've seen this belt before. And I think they said the bones glow.
Yeah. In the video, he had a
Not
black
the head,
light
but
and
the
he lit them
bone.
up, and they glowed beautifully.
I think that might be the
Okay.
belt that we're getting on Atlas, the new Atlas, but obviously that's not out yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah. Well, there's an early piece right there.
Take the other head. So yeah, there's one head that has the articulated jaw.
Nice.
Oh, no.
Then the head with no lower jaw.
Mhm.
That was the first time I came.
Your kind of classic
I'm sorry.
halberd, just in gold.
I love that
Cool.
Greg and Jackie are like not respecting the fact that you're like, doing car time right now, and they're just carrying on for the conversations in the background.
Greg's having a donut.
Oh, is that what it's called? That's what I'm gonna start calling it.
Yeah. There's two separate spectral pieces. So I think
One
you're
for the full head,
pretty
and
much
one for the half
set.
mask, half head. Yeah.
yeah, you can kind of double it up too.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
And then there's all-
in the Purple Gang Gang review. Yep. And Van talked about that. I think he showed it off.
I'm trying to get the eye pieces out.
Got it?
Get out of there.
This is the quietest Curtis
Yeah.
has ever been on a show.
And be respectful.
I'm not sure how.
Is that what the new guy's name is? Curtis?
Yeah, I thought it was
Kurt?
Lance. I guess I messed it up. Trevor says he needs three.
Lance,
He needs
Curtis.
3 headhunters, Smurb.
I'm going to try, Trevor, if you're watching.
Hey, Jackie, I want you to pop
I'm going
in
to go
and-
back down. And,
Okay. All right. So there's, I'm not sure how the spectral pieces fit into the eye,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
pop
they-
in or
I don't know if
slide
they
They
in.
only
Yeah.
go in one, like one will go in one eye and one will go in the other, and you gotta like it has a locking mechanism. So
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that one stayed.
Yeah.
That one stayed. Now it fell out.
You gotta warm it up a little bit and then kiss it. Sometimes you
Yeah.
gotta buy dinner.
Oh,
say
the
nice
wine,
things. Yeah.
Yeah, the cape. There's no hood to the cape, which,
I kind of like that there's
Yeah.
no hood.
but of
Sometimes
course,
hoods can be fussy.
Yeah,
Or
and you know
wired,
what?
of course.
Last year the Skullman had he had a hood, so yeah, we don't need one this year.
They did. Terrence said they did have a few of last year's Schoolman selling for $75 each.
really.
Pricey dicey.
You know, I've got a Skullman I haven't opened yet. I probably need to do that.
There he is with the.
That's a nice white cape.
Yeah.
That'd be like a good.
I just
night
love
cape.
those painted
yeah.
bones on the black background. That's so nice.
Hey Grumps, what beef are you or do you need help explaining? I love beef. Let's talk about it.
I'll turn it back over to Greg and see if Jackie wants to jump in.
Yeah,
Jack, you want to jump
yeah.
on?
Let's have Jackie on.
Jackie.
Jackie is somebody that I want to get to know. I don't know Jackie. I've never met you.
Jackie did my hair at Legion's
Hello.
Con.
I did. It looked
Mhm.
great too.
Yeah,
You know, we could get a burger. There's like plenty of room.
yeah.
Chin.
Yeah,
I
she
saw
gave me-
that you
gave me
made.
some
I saw
purple
you made my
extensions.
friend. You made Greg a cake.
I
That's
did.
love right there.
I did make him a cake. It was delicious, and we should have brought it. We totally forgot.
Look at
about
that.
Oh yeah. Greg would look good
Dude.
with some. Yeah, there you go.
Hell yeah! Look at that. He looks like Diego from Shipping. Look at that. Oh my god!
Somebody clip that,
Hang on,
please.
hang on. Go back. I need to do that again. Do that again.
Go back.
We need a screen
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I
grab.
want a
get
screen
Wendy.
grab of that.
You gotta get Wendy.
Let me grab a screenshot.
Your new name is
Look,
Wendy.
it's Wendy's. It's the Wendy's girl or Carrot Top. Who? It's Carrot Top.
Did he get it?
Yeah, he got it.
Okay.
Sorry about looking at the back of my head. I apologize.
Hey, Jackie.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
I was just saying how I've never met you. I always see you running around at Legion's Con, and I follow you
Oh,
online, but I've never met you. I need to have you on Meet the Collector one day.
Yay! Well, it's nice to be here.
Yeah. I just interviewed Cloud this week, and
Oh.
she was such a great interview. She was amazing. If you guys haven't seen that, go to my YouTube channel. Please check out.
It was a
US
great
Meet the
interview.
Collector.
Yeah, I
she's
loved it.
phenomenal.
I'm gonna try to turn up the volume.
Oh, you guys are great. I can hear you. You look good. You sound good. It's all good.
Oh, I can't. I'm having trouble hearing
Oh,
you guys.
Sorry.
I think it's a sexy voice.
Yeah. Do you have a deep voice? But yeah, this show is insane. I went down at like 9:30 and I still had to wait almost like a half an hour with my VIP ticket to get in. The line was coiling around this staircase. It was
Yeah, they weren't prepared.
wow. It
They
was
even said
wild.
that. They're like, we didn't know it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
So there's some logistical.
Well, last year, right? Like the last
Things
couple of
come
years,
back.
hasn't it been like in a fairly small venue, like inside of like a planetarium or
Yes.
something?
Yeah, it's like the Fuge, which was like a NASA astronaut training facility. Curtis, pay attention, Kurt.
No, I was responding to
Whatever your name
Grumps.
is, sir. Got a
New
new,
guy.
He's
got a new
bored.
guy.
Yeah.
Pay
He
attention.
doesn't. He's bored. He's like, this is not how a show
He's
goes.
got a short-
This is
I'm just
not
trying to
how a
respond to
Okay.
comments since Mark's ignoring them all. So
Oh,
that's-
I know. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time this morning. guys.
Looking at this charisma down here, you can't help it. You can't help
trying
it.
to take care of
Your
people.
show is now off the rails, and you become a Purple Gang Gang production since this guy Curtis is taking over. But is there any questions? Is there anyone in the audience or in the chat that has a question about
I have a
ZoloCon?
question. Like
Uh,
last year, so when they showed off Skullman, they also like, I think Zolo had they had the Repro 5 and 5 inch Skullman. Did they do that this year for Headhunter as well?
See it. I have some pictures that I took of his cabinet. I didn't send them to you, but I can. And he's got other products there for sale. He's got these like space heroes, which are like little monkeys in astronaut suits. And then he's got some other stuff. Like I said, he had last year's Skull Warrior guy. But he does have some products. But
Yeah, if they have,
you have
if
to
they
check out
have one of those repro Skull Warriors, if they're a reasonable price, I know right now they're like $85 on eBay or something. But I think at the show last year,
it might be cheaper here. I can ask. Right now, it's a zoo. Like there's so everyone that bought a ticket is waiting in line to get their Skull Warrior or Headhunter, and he's got one scanner and one person. Like there's no help.
Sounds like Walmart.
So like yeah. Logistic, it's insane.
Okay. Well, when you get back down,
he was not prepared.
Just let me know.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll send some pictures. I'll ask some questions. I'll see if I'll say I need something for Trevor, and I'll try to use his name, some name recognition.
I appreciate that.
And we'll see what we can do.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
Sounds good.
All right, you guys, we're gonna bow out and leave this new guy to take care of the show. We appreciate you guys. Have a great show.
Thank you guys so very much for jumping on and doing this.
Thanks for
Peace out from ZoloCon. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Have
Thank
fun
you guys.
and safe travels.
Good luck, you guys.
Oh my gosh, dude. They're having the blast.
Yeah, if you're near ZoloCon, you got a day and a half left. You need to get there. So
get out there. Yeah, Lucky Brian, he lives like 30 minutes away from ZoloCon.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
He's like, yeah, I'll just I guess what is it, 8:30? Guess I'll drive down.
Yeah.
Guess I'll drive down. Yeah, so we had already planned to talk about this. Greg and the team were already like throwing us pictures in chats and stuff. So I'd set up a couple of stuff. So why don't we do this? Why don't we, let's go ahead and put a pin in this. So I'm going to show off again the images that we saw. Then this was the information that Jeremy sent out today. Legendary Barbarian will be available for sale for $50 at every single live event that we do for 2025. While we only have limited numbers of this figure available at each event, smaller events will have fewer available than larger ones. I wonder if he means street team events. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Legionnaires will have numerous chances to grab one of these from us in 2025. You can see our calendar of events at sourcehorseman.com/events. For those, unfortunately, cannot come out to see us at the show, do not fret. We will also have allocated a number of these barbarians for an online sale later this year. That sale won't happen until closer to the end of the year, but we have we've set a good amount aside specifically for that online offering. So it is not lost if you cannot get out there and get one of these guys. And as Greg showed off, it's absolutely beautiful. And we go back here, you can see everything you get. You get the dwarf style head, you get the barbarian head, and 3 sets of hair to create any combination of barbarian you want. So let's get back in here and let's check out the chat. And I am so sorry for ignoring you guys for so long. I really apologize. So let's answer some of these just in case Curtis has answered them. I'm sorry. Trevor McGuire says, is this a ZoloCon exclusive? Yes. No, it is not.
Debut.
But it is first. It's the debut. Right.
Yeah.
Heinrich says, I just thought of another custom. I need 5.
That's all.
That's all.
You know what's funny is I saw some. I'm not gonna mention any names, but I saw somebody that was kind of balking at the price of the dragon. Like, man, that's a lot of money. And then that same person was talking about how they were going to go through the line 10 times to get the barbarian. I'm like, that's a dragon. Like that's
the price of a dragon.
Right. Like I'm willing to go through the line 10 times and pick a $50 barbarian up. But then you hear $550 for a dragon, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's like 25 cases of eggs right now. That's how much that costs. Are they selling wigs at ZoloCon? If so, we need to get one. Let's see here. Blake Smurbs, have you seen the Savage Crucible exclusive or Valaverse VAC metal figures yet? I think they did go by both of those tables. Yeah, so I don't know if they've seen them or not. And then I also found out, I guess I didn't really know this until later this week, was that the Valaverse figures are blind bag. So like,
yeah, I heard that. Like one out of every 100.
One out of every 100.
Yeah. That's kind of
the
cool.
gold helmet.
Yeah.
Here we have Curb, somebody new. I've never seen the chat. Buenos dias, amigos. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining, buddy. And then Hybrid just said goodbye to everybody. So
yeah, that's Kirby. He just got that Goblin builder pack from Army or the Ashes of Agbender. He's one of the named ones in that Goblin 4-pack. So yeah, he's part of that Malignancy group with the Goblins. So
my goodness, we've got a tribute figure in the.
I know, right? Your boy Lance doesn't have one of those.
We'll start campaigning early for 2026. Micah Cleary, who I've never seen in the chat before, thank you so much for joining us. I was looking at kids' bikes recently. That dragon is like 3 kids' bikes. Yes. We're going to start using the dragon as the numerical unit for counting things from now on. That's 2 dragons. I can't do that. All right. Let's see here. Curtis, do you have any pickups this week? Do we want to do some pickups?
Sure. Yeah, I got a few.
Right.
You got a few?
Yeah, I got some. Let me get back to this. Where's my explosion?
Sounds like when Mario jumps on the flag and it does that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I pick old school retro sounds, man.
I love it. Why
don't you kick us off? What do you got?
I'll start with this one. This isn't I've had this figure for a while. I've never opened it. It's the Vampire Phalanx. And on Wednesday, I did a live with Schmerber on my channel where I was trying to teach him how to do some dry brushing, which is like the easiest thing that you can do paint wise. I think he picked it up really well. He's got a post on the Cabal with what he came up with. This is the one that I worked on. So I just did some dry brushing of brown on it to make it look more leatherish. Normally it's like a shiny black. So I really enjoyed this figure. I'm not a huge vampire fan, but it does come with this separate helmet that's more like the Gorgo style helmet. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. So it was the first time I'd opened this figure, but I'd already painted it. But yeah, check out that live stream from Wednesday, because I think Greg did a great job, and I'm super excited because I think it's going to kickstart him being more creative and kind of doing some more painting and stuff. So that'll be awesome.
Awesome. And yeah, absolutely. I've seen Greg's pictures. I was blown away. I was like, dang, for first time trying, that's amazing.
Yeah, and he did it live too. Like that's got to be a little nerve wracking to like the first time that you're really like doing a full paint job to do it live in front of people. But yeah, he did great.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a trooper. Good morning, sitting here painting. That's awesome. JD, thanks for joining us. I don't recognize your name, so maybe first time. We have a couple of first timers in the chat today. Sweet. For everybody in the chat, make sure you smash that like button. I mean, Trevor's already here. He already arrived. So, just do it so I know that we're online and everything's working. Is that what Trevor always says? So I got a couple, I would say this week was mostly, was a lot of Spider-Man. I got a couple of eBay and like loose purchases, but I got in 2 from Big Bad Toy Store this week. This is probably going to be one of my 10 figures of the year, and that is the
nice
the Spider-Man India from Across the Spider-Verse. This guy is just absolutely
that is fantastic. Really cool.
Yeah, this is the SH Figure Arts. He's not in the box because I've been playing with him like crazy. I did the review on Wednesday. My review went up for this guy, and I have not stopped playing with him since. So yeah, this guy's pretty phenomenal.
Very cool. Ready for my next? It is the Mythic Legions Conobus figure. I've been slowly going through the Necronominus wave because I've been doing my exploded reviews on him. And I just dropped this one this week, and this thing's phenomenal. I haven't opened Necronominus yet, but his horse is ready. So this thing is just fantastic. I remember the G-Con leading up to this. A lot of people were like, oh, it'd be cool if they did a skeleton horse, but there's no way they're going to do it. Like that's crazy. They won't get enough use out of the tooling and all this and that. Well, they did it. So
yeah, I was watching Bill's review over at Dork Layer's channel, and and he talked about that when he was doing his speculation for the Necronominus wave. He's like, I just don't think they're going to do a full skeleton horse. And he was like, I'm so glad I was wrong about that, because he looks phenomenal. Now, I will say, so 2 things. Number one, I'm not the biggest collector of the horses. It's just that I just don't have a lot of room. If I had infinite space, I would buy every horse they made. But the only horse that I've bought 2. I say that I don't buy a lot, but a horse was what got me back into Mythics, and that was when I saw the Headless Horseman 2-pack figure Obscura.
Great
I couldn't turn that down. I bought it, and then like next year I was at Legion's Con, so that it was a snowball effect for me. So I have that horse, and I have the one that comes with came for Debon.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and that wasn't even initially intended for Debon. I think it's just all of a sudden I think Trevor did a picture of him with it, and they were like, wow, we like that. And so then they kind of worked it together in the story, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I love that horse. So I only have 2. And so every time a new horse comes out, I'm like, yeah, it looks great. I'm not going to buy it. I just don't buy
I'm not a huge horse guy either.
I'm buying both of these, Conibus and what's the other one?
The Bishop. Yeah.
Bishop. Yeah. I knew he had a simple name.
I'm with you. Like, they take up a lot of room, and they put out just a bunch of horses, and I'm like, man, I just don't need more horses, but I got to have the ones for the Dark Four. Like, that's just something I feel like I've got to have. The one thing I dislike more than the horses is the centaurs. I'm like, I just don't have. I don't have room. Those things are massive, but this one's pretty neat. I mean, the fact that they did a full skeleton horse is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I will be buying both of these. Now, I did push them to the back of my Necronominus list because it looks like I've been basically buying Necronominus in groups of 2. I bought I bought this guy. I got Elijah and like the hands packed together, and then I got like 2 figures from Big Bad Toy Store, 2 from Jay's, 2 Articulated Empire, and so I'm doing them in groups of 2. So I'll probably at Toylanta, I'll probably get both horses.
If you do any customizing, let me recommend Wolf King Customs, because when you buy the figures from them, you get a free head that would come with it that they put specifically for that figure. So for the same price as what you get everywhere else without a head.
What is he doing for the horses?
He's got a skeletal horse, or he's got something for the horse, and then Bishop, he's got something for that. I haven't seen them yet, but he said they are specifically designed for the horses. So,
then I will buy my 2 horses from him, and then at Toylanta, I'll get Sir Urtsak, and then I don't know if I'm saying that properly. You should see
I've heard it pronounced like 10 different ways. So
when I chat with the guys in our chat group about him, I type Sir, and then I just bash on my keyboard like 20 letters, and they all know now that that's who I'm talking about, because I have no idea. I think Jeremy's cat walked across his keyboard whenever he named that figure and was just like, I understand. It's isn't it the last name of Greg who works there at the
which is he says it 2 different ways. He goes, in American it's Tchaikovsky, in Polish it's Tchaikovsky. So depending on how you want to pronounce it, but yeah, it is some letters from that, and then
okay, then I'll probably from Toylanta I'll pick up everything else that like that. I already have the hands pack, but like the skeletal hands and feet, and then like the weapons pack, or probably another undead warrior, because I want like 2 or 3 packs of those.
Those are nice, especially the zombie parts. The zombie parts are fire. So.
I need at least 3 of those guys with like the jaw hanging off and have them all shambling around. Man, I can't wait for that. Okay, I have another Spider-Man I got this week. I've opened him up, messed around. This is called the Final Swing Suit from No Way Home. So in the last 20 seconds of the film, he gets his classic red and blues, and he swings through New York, and it's like snowy or whatever. And I'm on a huge Spider-Man kick right now. Spider-Man is one of my 3 favorite characters of all time. Yeah. But if you head over to like the shorts section of YouTube and you look, a lot of my pose videos a lot of them are Spider-Man. I just did one yesterday, and it was from Miles Morales.
I've got 3 of the Mafex ones. And man, I just love those Mafex Spider-Mans. They are so good. Like, I normally don't try to get multiples of the same character, but that Mafex Spider-Man, like, yeah, it's nice.
I would say Mafex makes hands down the best Spider-Man figures on the planet. Like, Mezco and SH Figure Arts close second, but nobody touches Mafex.
Well, I know sometimes with other figures that aren't as articulated, you'll hear people say, well, I don't need it to pose like Spider-Man. Well, you know who you do need to pose like Spider-Man? Spider-Man. So when you need it to pose like Spider-Man, because it's Spider-Man, yeah, go Mafex. Or, I mean, SH Figure Arts, they do some great stuff too. So
yeah, and especially with like the figures that are from the cartoon, like the Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
Mafex will get in there. They all have like spindly arms and joint elbows and knees, and they're like super tiny, but they're solid. They move perfectly. I can't get enough of them.
Yeah.
What you got? Anything else?
Yeah. We were just talking about Sir Ukzak, and I've got mine here with a few modifications, but he's a big boy.
Yeah, you did the hammer mod.
Yeah, I did a hammer mod on it. It's got a cape for my wife on there, and then tightened up a couple of the joints and stuff, and then put him on a horseman stand. This is a hefty boy, and I've seen some people kind of put this like on top of their display cases and stuff, and then he's taken a nasty fall, and this thing is either going to take out your floor or it's going to take out himself. So I really highly recommend getting a stand for it. 4 Horsemen have these stands that they've had occasionally on their site and stuff. These things are great for the ogre scale ones, but this thing is it's beautiful. But yeah, don't let this thing fall on you, because it's gonna take out your pet. It's gonna take out your DTOP. It's gonna take out something. So
I have several 4 Horsemen stands. I probably have like 8 or 10 of those things. Are they all the same size? Did they make an ogre scale version?
Nope, they're all the same size.
Okay.
So you just take the wire part in the back, you pop it all the way out, put it on his waist, because otherwise, if you have it in there, you won't get it around his waist, and then you just slide it down on there, and yeah, you're good to go. So
did your wife make the loincloth, the tabard that hangs down?
No, the loin piece is from them, and then the cape is from her. So the cape we'll have it at MesquiteCon, and we'll have it at Legions Con. So
okay, all right.
Yeah,
no Toylanta. Dang.
We won't be at Toylanta, but we will have it at MesquiteCon, and I'm sure there's some people from MesquiteCon that are going to Toylanta because it's the next week. You might be able to get yourself a mule. So
okay, if not,
we might be able to do something. We may work something out. So
thank you. Yeah, I think I'm going to need one of her capes for that guy, because that cape really makes him stand out.
What's funny is that she made that cape, and there's another figure coming out in All Stars called Baradak, which is kind of like a darker evil scale or evil colored version of this type of figure. And she made capes for both of those, and we had them last year at MesquiteCon. Really didn't sell many. We had it at Legions Con, didn't really sell many. Then the figure came out, and on 4 Horsemen O'Clock, Joe Vassapolo put one on the Sir Greg figure, the Sir Ukzak. All of a sudden, our PMs were blowing up. Where is this? Where can I get it? How can I? It's like, dude, we've had this for the last year and nobody wanted them. So
100%.
But I think you just have to see it on it, and yeah, then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's cool. I like that. So
yeah, just yesterday I was talking with somebody in one of our chat groups, one of the message groups that I'm in, about I'm currently trying to build the saber-toothed cat Zabu from Marvel Legends. And
I think that won a Nerdy for best Build-A-Figure for the year.
Oh yeah, it did. That's right.
You were on there. Yeah, I saw you. You presented. That was cool.
Yeah, they give me G.I. Joe, which was crazy. They were like, they reached out around the holidays and said, hey, would you like to be on and present for G.I. Joe, since it's like a Saturday morning cartoon and it's kind of your shtick? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I was really,
I'm sure there's some G.I. Joe heads out there like, man, I wish that was me. You got like Punk with Toys mad at you.
I hope not. But yeah, they just reached out, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And they're like, yeah, we've been watching you and we dig your stuff. And I was like, dude, that's anytime that happens, I'm just like,
so cool, right?
Really, yeah, it's cool. I just get caught off guard. Like, I'm just not expecting that kind of stuff to happen. But yeah, but I was just talking to somebody, and they were like, yeah, the Zabu parts are ridiculously expensive. Like the torso alone for the cat goes for like 30 to 35, which is beyond me, because it comes with Wolfsbane, who's a great character. She is still on Amazon, Big Bad, and Hasbro Pulse for 25. So why in the world would you ever pay 35 for just the torso? And secondly, she's been on Amazon clearance for $17 for like since Christmas. And I'm like, I don't. Do you guys check stores?
No, they don't. They're just like, I need this. Sell it to me.
Ooh, Blake. Okay. So here's the deal, Blake. I will message you for sure. I have 3 parts, so I will talk to you about the rest of what I need. So I will message you after this day.
I'm a big DC guy, and kind of the same thing happened this past year with that Plastic Man. Like people were selling the individual parts for more than what the figures were costing with the parts. And it's like, just go buy the figures. They're out there. They're still readily available. So yeah. Like one of them came
with that Plastic Man, by the way, once you built it, how is it?
It's so nice. I like it a lot. So, I mean, my thing, and I'm sure we'll get into some McFarlane and DC and Mattel and all that later. But my thing with McFarlane, I love the Superpowers line, but for the multiverse, I was trying to basically put together the Justice League that I had as a kid in the Superpowers line.
Sure.
So I needed all of those figures, and he fit the bill for that. So.
Yeah, I know that in the last couple of years, they have gotten really, really close to making a Plastic Man movie. There's been writers and directors circling. There's been actors, talking about it and like circling. Yeah. But then that was also before James Gunn took over, and all of that stuff went out the window. But Plastic Man is one of his favorite characters. He said that before in interviews, and it also fits into sort of like the very silly, zany, colorful stuff that he's wanting to do with DC.
I love that.
So I think I would say in the next 5 years, we're probably going to wind up with I mean, after Superman and like the 2 movies that they're about to start production on are Supergirl and Clayface. I mean, we're getting a standalone Clayface movie. I mean, tell me that a Plastic Man wouldn't work. Yeah. So I bet you next 5 years, we get a really good, James Gunn involved somehow Plastic Man.
The one I really want that they've teased for a long time is a Lobo. Like I would love a Jason Momoa Lobo.
It's happening.
Oh gosh. Yeah. God, that would be so good. Like it just feels like certain people are born to play a role. And I think Momoa was born to play Lobo. Like there's nobody else that could have that same look and do that.
I didn't pull it. Perfect. You're right. Like he was born to play. I mean, nobody else could play that role. I mean, he was born to play that role. I didn't pull this for my pickups, but I just got this in this week.
Yeah,
the Superpowers logo, and this guy is beefy. Like he's hefty for a Superpowers figure, but he is so much fun. No dog, no chain, just.
See, I was trying to stick to the ones that I had as a kid, but now that I know that they're done with the license after this year, I think I'm going to have to go after some of these ones that,
Oh, Curtis, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. There goes the.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Damn, you just ruined my
Hopefully
day.
He can push out a bunch this year and we can get what we need. So,
in the middle of my interview with Cloud, she ruined my day as well. She ruined my whole week.
I heard that. Yeah.
She said, I want Darkstalkers in the Jada Toy Street Fighter line. And I just was like, I can't stop thinking about that now. I need it. I want that so bad. I didn't play the game a lot, but those character designs are incredible.
Yep.
Some of the best out there. Let's see. Is it you? Is it me?
It's you.
Oh, all right.
I got one more after that, and then I'm done.
Yep. All right. I'll show this off. I'll show these off together. I'm 48. This has never happened to me before in my entire life of collecting. I've been buying toys, like going into stores and pulling stuff off since I was 10. So in 38 years, this has never happened. A friend of mine said, hey, our local GameStop, the one that's in the mall, so I think we've got like 3. They've got the whole wave of Batman that's got like the Christian Bale Batman, the new Michael Keaton 89 Batman. You got to get down there and pick some up. So I went down there and I picked up the new Michael Keaton 89 Batman. This is the one that comes with the little things that puts the cape out, makes them so we could do that. So I went there to get this, and then they had the Christian Bale Batman. I was like, yep, I'll go ahead and pick that up. It was the one from Batman Begins. I was like, I'm not a fan of that suit, but I should represent it on my shelf. So I picked it up. And so I had these 2, and I was standing there, I was getting ready to check out. And I missed out on the pre-order for this guy. He's kind of sold out everywhere. And the employee walked up. He said, excuse me, let me put something out. And he put the Fleischer Superman out on the shelf.
Nice.
So I put Bale back, and I was like, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And so I've never had somebody, like an employee, put a figure that I'm looking for out in front of me while I'm there looking. It's like, it always happens after. Like, I'm sure I would have gotten home, and then somebody would have said, hey, I went by there and they had this. I picked it up. I'm like, I was just there. But yeah, I got the Fleischer Superman, which I really love the way this looks. I love that head. I mean, if nothing else, that is a perfect cartoon head. Like, I love it. And I'm just it's just, this is a lot of fun.
That's beautiful. And that's that. I know we're going to talk more about it later, but I'm like, man, McFarlane's just really hitting his stride with a lot of this like throwback stuff and more comic book stuff and the wired soft goods and like that Mr. Terrific comes with that leather jacket and he's still like $29 or something. The Guy Gardner has like swappable face plates and swappable hairs. It's like, man, it's just so good.
Yeah, I got the Huntress earlier this year, and that Huntress had this. I think she was the first one that had the swappable faceplates, and I'm like, he needs to do this. He's saving money on heads and hair. Just change the faceplates out. It's perfect. You're right. He's hitting his stride and losing it at the same time.
All right, my last pickup. This is from Operation Monster Force. This is the Kilowog. They've got a few different versions of this kind of werewolf, and he has parts to make him kind of without the clothes, like we could have it kind of bare werewolf. He's got a jacket, like a vest, and then he's got the duster, the Gatling gun. He's got like this like predator type blade for his arm. I mean, this thing is just loaded. He's got 3 heads. I went with the one with the cigar because, who doesn't want a werewolf, smoking a cigar? But yeah, this thing is just really cool. I've been trying as hard as I can to avoid that Operation Monster Force. It looks awesome, but I just can't collect everything. But I had to have one of these guys for my shelf. And man, this thing is really cool.
I was looking for mine. Mine's sitting in my floor here somewhere. It may be over there. But yeah, I bought him right after the holidays, and I haven't opened him yet.
I had to do some kikis on his ankles and on his lower legs because they were a little loose. But little kikis fixed it right up. So
nice. Yeah, that figure does look incredible. Yeah. I'm not going all in on Monster Force. I'm not, but I've got a couple. I've got like 2 right here. I've got the let's see, right here I have the 2 Urban Troopers, the regular and the nocturnal versions. I love those because like you can throw those in with Joe's, you can throw those in with Valaverse, whatever you want, and they just look great. They're not, you don't have to use the monster parts, is what I'm saying. But yeah, they look really fun. I'm excited to see where those are going. Okay. I did get a couple of these this week because they're on super sale at Big Bad Toy Store, and I've never bought any of these Swordzork Warriors. Like this guy was like 17, the other one was 19. But instead, I want to show off this. So this is a third-party company I've never heard of called Hellcat Studios. And
yeah,
you know what this is?
I think I do.
All right, so it's really nice box. This is the unlicensed Lord of the Rings Gandalf. Yeah. So they just call him the Grey Wizard. And I was really hoping that when Diamond Select got the Lord of the Rings license, that they would be making the Lord of the Rings figures. Trevor, I hope you're still in the chat. I hope you're still here because I know that's my fellow Lord of the Rings buddy. Now they call this guy.
I know he loves this figure.
They call this guy the Grey Wizard, and I'm going to show you my only complaint.
Not Roadblock.
Yeah, not Roadblock. This is not Gandalf. But his name is literally the Grey Wizard.
Right.
Okay? All right. The problem is his robes are all brown, so he looks like Moses. This bothers me. He's not gray at all. There's nothing gray, really. I mean, maybe this is kind of gray, the robes underneath. But yeah, anyway, I just want to show off. So I got the version that comes with 2 heads. So the hair is sculpted and the beard is sculpted, and it has a little bit of stringiness, just a little bit. Now the hat is gray, but it looks weird because it's gray and the rest are brown robes. So I'm going to have to find some gray third-party soft goods. But what I do want to show off is the extra head because it does come. I got the version that comes with the fully rooted hair for both the hair and the beard.
Gosh,
look at that.
First of all, that camera is crisp. Like that focused really well, and then that head looks awesome.
Look at that. I mean, it's like a 1/12 scale Hot Toys figure. It's ridiculous.
So good.
It's nice to hear you say that my camera is nice because I feel like it's terrible. It's my phone. It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone 12 Pro. It's an iPhone 12 Pro Max. So I'm 4 generations old. It is time to
focused like perfect. So,
but I do want to show this off one more time. So this is the rooted hair version. So the sculpted hair. So it's sculpted in the back, and then it's sculpted in the front. But it has some pieces that are just kind of like stuck in there.
I think that's interesting that they did sculpted, but with extra
little wisps.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And this guy wasn't really that expensive. I want to say he was, I think, right at just $100, like 90 bucks from 5K Toys. And I think have they shown off Aragorn or a Strider, or am I just imagining that? I think they're going to do a couple more, but yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to get some gray robes. But what I did do was when C. Jessum's sale happened this week, and I spent way too much of my dragon money on C. Jessum clothes. I did buy the gray wizard hood that's like soft, the gray wizard hat.
Yeah.
So that's going on that guy right there.
Gotcha.
So that's it for the pickups. So let's get into
good ones.
Yeah, we had a lot, and we're already at an hour. I knew you and I were going to go.
Hey, listen, I could talk all day. I ain't got nothing going on. So
me either. So let's get into it. Let's get into our double down. All right, we got two double downs we're going to be talking about today. First off, we're going to start with Bayathir, the dragon.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of information this week. We got lots of information that was really cool. So we now know that the crowdfunding campaign is going to start on March 7th. And let me see if I can make this real big. So Bayathir Dragon will be $550 during the campaign, plus shipping and taxes where applicable. The minimum order needed to move this figure into production is 2,000 units, but that is just the beginning. We have some amazing stretch goal additions to open up at the higher levels once the minimum is met, and the campaign will run for only 1 month, and it will start on Friday, March 7th, and go through April 7th. So, dude, I'm ready to hear it. I need to know from you here. Let's talk about it. What do you think about the minimum order of 2,000? Seems really low. How long do you think it's going to take the Four Horsemen to hit that number?
I think it's definitely going to fund. I don't think that's
for
question.
Sure.
I think it would fund just with the people that are into Mythic Legions. But I think if they go outside of Mythic Legions and they hit some of these other toy collectors that maybe don't normally collect 4-H stuff, and maybe even some D&D circles, I think that's where you're really going to push this way past, what it normally is. So, they have this tendency to kind of promote within the community. Like they'll promote on their channel and on Jeremy's channel, and they'll put stuff out on their Instagram, and that's good enough. With this, I think they need to really get outside of that. And I think there's some plans for them to do that. So it really just depends on how far they go with that and how fast they go with it. I don't know. I would say within the first week, it'll probably hit that 2,000. That would be my guess. But it also depends on if people are going to try to order up front or if they're going to try to wait, because it's a little bit different than your normal like Kickstarters and stuff. Like normally they charge you at the end, right? You can kind of adjust some things as you go. You can add some things or whatever. On this, they're doing it through their own store, through Shopify. So you have to once you place your order, you're paying then. And then if you you can't really change your order down the road. You can place another order, but you can't adjust it and add things to your original order. So, I'm going to try to get in as early as possible. One of the things that I was concerned about, because I know there's also stretch goals that we're going to talk about. And one of the things that I was worried is that we may not know those up front. And so you may make an initial order and then go, oh, wow, that stretch goal is cool. Now I need to order another one. And now you're placing separate orders. But it sounds like from what Jeremy has said, they're going to tell us all that up front. So any of the potential stretch goals and everything, we're going to know what the goal is and what the reward is before the campaign starts, which is great.
Yeah, so. I think he said that he's actually going to get that information out on the 6th. So like the day before, maybe even the 5th, before the campaign launches, so that when it launches, you have all the information to make the most informed purchases possible. So yeah, I don't like that thing where stretch goals are hidden until unlocked.
Right.
I hate that. Yeah. Like that's kind of stupid, because to me, it's well, don't you want to hit that other mark? So tell me what we're getting and maybe we can help you get there.
Right. Because
strategy. Because
I think $550 is a great price for this dragon, but it's an amazing price for this dragon plus XYZ. Right.
Exactly.
So then
it drives the price of the dragon down.
Right. Yeah. It makes that value that you're getting for your money that much more. So if we know that up front, I think that makes a few people pull the trigger that may not have, or it makes some people pull the trigger on a second or third one that they may not have. So
right, absolutely, and we're definitely going to talk about that. So let's go ahead. Oh, the other thing I wanted to ask you before we move on is, what do you think about the time frame of it only being a month? Because I've heard some people are like, "Oof, that's kind of short. We were expecting maybe 2 months."
I understand the logic behind it because they've done some studies with Kickstarters and things like that, and they've said that actually when it runs longer, that actually hurts the campaign. The longer campaigns typically do worse than the shorter ones. That being said, this is not a property that's known by everybody. Like, this is a niche company, niche group that I mean, some people know about it, but maybe they don't collect it, or maybe they're not informed. And what you don't want to do is have this time window pass and somebody doesn't hear about it, and then they go, dang, I wish I would have known, I would have gotten in on it. So that's where I'm saying it's going to really depend on how much promoting they're doing outside of their normal channels to really maximize the amount of purchases they get. So I was hoping it would be longer for that. Plus, we're right in that tax season, and I was kind of hoping that it would go long enough. I mean, for me, I'm fine. I've actually got a bonus coming in a couple weeks. It's like my annual bonus, that it's like perfect timing for me. But I know there's some people that are like waiting on their tax return, and it may not get to them before April 7th. And so I was kind of hoping for that too, because the more people that buy, the more stretch goals we get, the better off everybody is. So I understand the thinking. I personally think it should have been, more like 45 days minimum, but it is what it is. So.
Well, what do you think the thought process was behind them not attending Toy Fair? I mean, it's the same weekend as ZoloCon. I mean, but they're not comparable in size. Like, it seems like you want to get in front of a bunch of people, show up at New York Toy Fair. It's not that far from them, and bring that dragon, show it off. People would be blown away who know nothing of Mythic Legions and don't follow this.
I think because it's the same weekend as Zolo, and they have they got a history with Zolo that they've been there for many years, and they've only got one dragon to show right now, right? So you had to pick one. You can't have it at both places. And if they're going to pick one, I think just their loyalty to that con and the amount of times that they've been there, that kind of thing, they had to do it at Zolo. But they've also got several shows coming up over the next few weeks that you're going to see it, I'm sure, at Toyland, and you may see it at MesquiCon. I don't know. I think you're going to see it at some other places. And then from there, it's just going to really be about getting the word out to, all these other YouTube channels and that kind of thing. And even like word of mouth, like that's something that's so underrated. Like there's folks that collect this, that know about this dragon, that could definitely spread the word and spread pictures with groups that don't know about this. And, if that's one more purchase, that may be one purchase that gets us one more stretch goal. So
Eric's got a very good point. Toy Fair is a media event. Usually if you're displaying there, you're looking for retailers to pick up your stuff. Okay. That makes sense. Am I mistaken? Weren't there 2 dragons at Legions Con? There was the one with the base setup, and then one with the
you know what? You're right. They did. Yeah. Because they did have one with the extra stuff. So yeah, they did. I don't know. Maybe.
But no, I think you're right.
Plus they got the butter dragon. They could have done the butter
dragon. I love that picture of like Jeremy like cuddling the butter dragon. I got to pick up the head. And
I want that as like a centerpiece for my Thanksgiving dinner, like just like a big giant butter dragon in the middle of the table.
Scoop off of it, put it on your biscuit. Yeah. So good. All right, so let's take a deep dive, guys. Let's get into it. Let's talk about what you're getting here. So I put together this slide. So here's what you're getting for $550 plus tax and shipping plus what we're assuming is going to be 3 unlocks. I picked 3. That seems to be a general number. It could be less. It could be more. I don't know. But for the sake of our speculating, I picked 3 unlocks. So let's just say. So what do you think? Has Jeremy announced if there's like a flat rate for shipping for this?
No, I highly doubt that there's a flat rate for this. But yeah, I'm not sure what that's going to be. I know, some folks that had done like the Cat's Lair said that the shipping was like $100, and that thing is massive, and it's a couple different boxes. So, I would say that would probably be what I'm going to base my guess on before this starts, is that plan on spending $100 for shipping for this, but we'll see. I did want to mention, I know you're going to bring it up here, but there's kind of 2 things of extras with this. You've got stretch goals and you got add-ons. And we know some of the add-ons. There may be more. There could be more add-ons that are available for purchase that we don't know of. We don't know any of the stretch goals yet. Stretch goals are going to be free. Add-ons are going to be extra. So
and we're
just a
definitely gonna talk about
little
that.
thing to kind of separate there. But yeah.
Yeah. So, you're looking at 550 plus tax. So we're getting close to 600, and then whatever they charge for shipping. It could be 50, it could be 75, it could be 100. So if we're going with 100, let's just say that you're looking at probably right at $700 for the base to get this dragon to you, to pay for it and get it to you, the base dragon and all of the unlocks.
I think that's pretty fair assessment.
It could come just under that, but 675 to 700 is look here. Trevor says he thinks shipping will be less than 100.
I do too. I think that's like, if I plan in my head $100 for shipping and then it's less, hey, all the better, but for budgeting purposes, that's what I'm planning.
I would be willing to think that they could probably get away with $50 flat rate shipping fee on this guy, but I don't work in shipping. Heinrich, Terrence, Rob, you guys let me know, chime in. I know I heard
some people saying that Jeremy was telling people at Legions Con that they were assuming that it was going to be about the size of 2 troll boxes. So if that kind of gives, as far as how, because this isn't all going to be together in the box, like there's going to be some assembly required. So the way that it's going to go together and be put in the boxes, he was kind of telling people he thinks it was going to be about the size of 2 troll boxes. So if you collect this line, that kind of gives you an idea of the size that you're talking about. And really, that's not much more than what an all-in box is as far as size goes. So I don't know. Maybe it's even less than that, but.
Yeah, I would imagine just for logistical reasons, they probably, will have this packaged in a way to where like the base dragon minus some of its extra parts are all in one box, because that box will go to everyone. Whereas the other box is either going to have just your base dragon parts, or it will have the add-ons included in that box. Like that may be the box that they have to adjust. Whereas like the base parts may just come by itself, just so that they're not like, that's like, we don't have to fool with that box. Every one of those boxes is going to somebody.
For sure.
Rob does shipping. This is what Rob Zamora does. It's his wheelhouse. I think they're going to work a contract with FedEx to get $50 flat rate if they agree to a certain amount, which they obviously can with this dragon. So
I mean, if they know, like by the time I guess they wouldn't know before we buy it. So because they kind of give you a number when you're purchasing it. But if they have a guess on how many of these that they're going to sell, what the size of the box is, what the weight is, they could definitely go to FedEx and say, hey, we think we're going to move this many units. Here's the size of the box. Here's how much it's going to weigh. What's the best deal that you can get us? And then, we'll see. Go from there.
I just saw a video this week posted by, I don't think he posted it this week. I think he posted it last week, but I just saw it from Bobby Valla. And he was talking about the price of shipping for the Vanguard. Their big truck. And he said that they recently renegotiated their shipping rates with FedEx. And basically he said that FedEx give them such a good deal on shipping. Like, it was phenomenal. He was like, we're not going to take advantage of that and not pass that along to our customers. He's like, so we're going to pass that along to you guys. And he was like, from now on, from this day forward, for the life of the product, if you order a Vanguard, it will be free shipping.
Oh, wow.
From here on out. He was like, we will never charge you shipping. And so I know that, like what you just said is possible. They can go to FedEx or DHL or UPS and say, this is the size, this is the weight. We want to get, what deal can you give us? And then we'll pass that on to our customers. So,
well, yeah. And that shipping company is going to want that business, anytime that you can get them, if you say, I'm going to move this many units, they're going to be trying to bid for that contract. And if you can start getting those guys to play off of each other as far as a bidding war, then we all win. So,
and Heinrich knows this too. This is his bread and butter. This is his business. What he does, it all depends on the cube and the extra packing to protect it. Absolutely. All right. So let's get into the rest of it. Let's enough about taxes and shipping and all that. Let's talk about the add-ons, because this is what the base looks like with the add-ons added. And here are the parts. The extra parts for the add-ons are going to be the extended wings, which are not closed like these wings are. You can see how they're pulled closer to the body. So they're extended out for flight. the extra long neck piece. This is different from this neck piece here because it has like a S curve to it. So you're getting this extended, more stretched out neck, the extra head with the open mouth, and then this extra long flame effect. So we don't know what this is going to cost. So 2 wings, neck, head, fire. Do you have a guess?
It kind of sounded like, from what Jeremy was saying, he said the add-ons are going to have their own separate goals and numbers, units that they need to sell. And they may have an option that has all of this in one. And I think that's what a lot of people are kind of assuming, and they're putting a price on it. But there's a good chance that these things could be separate things. Like you may want the outstretched wings, but not necessarily want the neck, head, and flame. Or something like that. So
these may be a la carte. Is what you're saying?
They could be. I'm not saying that they are. Don't have that confirmed. But he said that the add-ons will have their own goals and that kind of thing. So, I don't know. They may have an option where if you buy all this together, it's one price. But if you buy it separately, it's a little bit more if you buy the individuals. So.
I got you. So knowing that information, that's a possibility. I would imagine that you could use this neck with the other head, right? So maybe the fire breathing head and flame effects probably come together. They could do that. The neck could be separate and the wings could be separate. It could be 3 different prices, right?
Could be.
Okay. So let's say that you've got all of these pieces right here. What do you feel like this is worth separately, like an all-in price for this, just the extras?
I was initially thinking $650 for everything, the dragon and all of the stuff that you see here. And I was thinking that the dragon would be $499 because I thought they would try to do that, like, marketing trick where you come just under 500 and makes it feel like it's not 500. But I still felt like $650 would be with everything. And I still kind of feel that. So even though it came in at $550, I'm putting this at $100 and saying that this would be $100 if you got the whole thing, and then $550 for the dragon.
And it just makes that Maximum Series Spider-Man worth even less than $50 if you think about it like that. Sorry, Terrence, had to get it in there. Let me jump in here because we got some really good comments. So Trevor says, I just shipped an 18-pound 30 by 20 by 18 box for $22 with insurance from UPS.
It's a good price.
Yeah, it had a couple human heads in it, but hey, when you live in New York, you live in Long Island, you got to do what you got to do. Hey, Elijah, thank you for joining us, buddy. I'm glad it's your time of day over there in your across the pond to join us. I appreciate it, buddy. I love having you here. Rob says the dimension is where the price will be determining factor more than the weight. Very good to know. He says, happy Saturday, everybody. And then J-Max has, I think, an extra $50 over the anticipated price gives some wiggle room for shipping options. Okay.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, the other thing is that when I was thinking the price in my head, like of the dragon, I thought $499, but I was not considering stretch goals. And so that's the thing that I think I kind of sometimes wish that 4-H would do stuff a little bit differently than they do, because when they do this thing where they give partial information and some people lose their minds, and then they give the rest of the information and people go, oh, I acted crazy 2 weeks ago. Yeah, you did. And you jumped.
There's a lot of that going around right now.
and I can't expect people to not act crazy because that's how social media is. But I could expect that the 4 Horsemen to just wait and give us the price when you're giving us all the other stuff. Because while I think $550 is a great price for the dragon, $550 for a dragon plus potential awesome unlocks is an amazing price. Like, that's just like, there's nobody that could complain about that, but we don't know those things yet. And so that's where I think there's some, consternation and stuff like that. But I think once all the information is revealed, I think this is going to be a no-brainer.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'm hoping that this add-on pack, like, part of me wants to say $75, but here's what I have to keep in mind. I just bought the hands pack for the knights in Necronominus. It comes with 30 hands, and the guy didn't even mark it up on eBay. He just charged me $20 for it, and that's what it's going to sell for. It's at shows, right? It's going to be $20 for 30 hands. So taking that in consideration, in my mind, in my limited brain, I look at that and I go, well, if I'm getting 30 hands for $20, there's no way I'm getting all this for 75. It's got to be at least 100. So I'm expecting this to come in at 100. But I like your thought process on this, that, you know, maybe you don't want the extra neck, head, and flame effect. You just want outstretched wings. That it would be nice for them to offer that as a separate pack. Like the wings could be separate from the head stuff. That makes a lot of sense to me. And so, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's going to be great. But let's move on because yeah, that's what you're going to be getting. What does this thing look like? They released this picture not too long ago, and I love it because it shows what this thing actually looks like. It's nearly 6 feet long from tail to end of the fire, and you can see what it looks like next to a goblin, next to a 1.0, a horse, a troll, and an ogre scale. And this is phenomenal. Like, this is just, look at this thing. I don't know where this is going. I'll worry about that when it gets here.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can fit it on top of my DTOFs, but we'll see. And I'm really hoping, like, for the, you know, the add-ons, one of the things that they had at Legions Con was this really nice display that it was standing up on that kind of made it more upright, and it was kind of like had a swiping claw, and like that makes it look so much more epic. And I know that's a big piece to ship. It's a big piece to make. What do you make it out of? Do you rotocast it? Is it completely hollow? Like, is it going to support the drag? I get it. There's a lot of things with that, but if we could get this base as an add-on that we could purchase, dude, I'm 100% buying that.
100%.
Because while this dragon is cool, you get this dragon up on that base and it's epic.
It's next level. It's
yeah.
absolutely next level. And I do think this guy should be on a base 100%. So let's get into that. Let's talk about, we're totally speculating here. I know, I know you have a lot more connections at Four Horsemen, so you're kind of privy to a little bit more information than the rest of us.
I don't get secrets, you know. I mean, I do watch all the Mythic content. Like, I'm a big freaking Legions nerd. So if I'm not on a show, I'm still watching the show. So I do watch all this stuff and I pick up on little things they say and stuff, but I don't get any sort of like insider stuff.
Yeah, well, I get less than that because I just don't have time to. I think your kids may be older than my kids. I just don't have that time to.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all mine out of the house.
Yeah, how old's your youngest?
Our youngest are about to turn 19 next month.
Oh,
I got I got twins that are getting ready to turn 19. So we've already got one out of the house. We're trying to get the last 3 out, and we'll be good.
Yeah, dude, mine are 14, 11, and 6. So it is like every night, every single night. It's either basketball, piano, guitar, gymnastics, dance. Like, it is literally basketball. Like, it is something every single night and weekend. So I wish I had the time. All right. So Curtis and I are going to speculate on what we think 3 possible unlocks could be. Now, we don't know. It's pure speculation. And these are really more of our wants. And I just want to send a huge apology to Bill over at Dorklair, because I think my unlocks are what your unlocks were. I mean, I think you nailed it. I think what you offered up as some of your speculation is absolutely perfect. And I wouldn't expect anything else because Bill is so steeped in the information here. And I even believe that picture that I just showed of it on the base was from Bill when he was at Legions Con. So my first unlock, something that I think would be really nice, and a lot of people have said this, would be a saddle, like a saddle for the dragon, so that you can mount any potential unlocked figure or any figure that you have now would be able to sit and ride, maybe some stirrups, something to hold on to, some leather straps for weapon holding. This was just a render that I found on like ArtStation or something like that. But what do you think for your first unlock? What would you like to see?
I think that would be cool, but they specifically said at G-Con, these are not dragons that get mounted. These are pillars of mythos. And so that's not to say that they wouldn't do something like this for people that wanted the option. I think that if you're going to get this, you're probably going to get it from a third-party company. I don't know that you're going to get this from the Horsemen, but I do think it's a cool idea.
Okay.
Because initially before they revealed the dragon, when we were all just speculating they're going to do a dragon, I was like, man, I'd love a dragon with a rider that comes with it. Like, it would be super cool. So yeah.
It's not a riding dragon though. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for shooting my my hopes down, Trevor.
I think you're
appreciate
still
that.
going to get it. I think whether it's, like from, if it's leather goods and stuff, maybe a Max Bird or a C Jessam or maybe a resin printed something. I think you're going to get this in some form or fashion.
Oh yeah,
You just might
for
not
sure.
get it from the Horseman.
Yeah,
So.
as I was not at GCon, and I guess I just didn't pick up on that information. I knew that they were gods. I knew they were the pillars of mythos, but maybe they have a friend they let ride. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. So another potential unlock, and it was one that was both on Bill's list, but also Curtis, your list and my list, is potentially some charred bodies, some charred skeletons. These were shown. I think the Horseman just probably threw these together. If you look at this real closely, this is like a skeleton head on what looks to be like the body that was underneath, like the Red Hand of Death, or Red Hands
like
of Death.
the retailer Red Death.
Yeah. I think that's what this was at GCon, but I mean not GCon, Legion's
Or is
Con.
that the regular Red Death? I can't remember. One of them was more red, one was black. I can't remember, but it's one of those.
It's like parts of like the zombified body parts and stuff like that. So either some black skeletons or this charred looking body that we've seen before would be a good, I think that's, and whether that's a single pack or maybe a 2-pack of like charred bodies, a little Uncle Owen and an Aunt Beru to throw in there.
Rob Zamora's last comment.
Let's get to it. Okay. Let's see here. Captain Firebird says, I want to see just how many of these goblins can fit on the dragon. I know exactly where this dragon is going to go, right next to the other two I'm also going to acquire. And how are you going to get them over there, buddy? That's a long plane ride. And then Rob says, horses were never meant to be mounted, but guess what happened? The dragon is going to be mounted whether she likes it or not.
There you go. Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to happen. There's enough customizers and third-party people are creating, like
I would just love to see like the Cabal once this thing comes out, just to be filled with people with like, figures riding the dragon, and just for like Treadaway and Jeremy go, you're not supposed to do that.
She's not meant to be mounted. Yeah. Exactly. Your next unlock is one that I really like. I like this idea, so I'm gonna let you talk about it here. You're thinking that it would be really nice to get Rhaegor 2.0.
Now I know Bill has shot this down and said there's no way that this is going to happen, because Rhaegor is from a different sect than what this Order of Baathir is. But that being said, Rhaegor is a figure that they've said for a while that they wouldn't reissue. It was a tribute to a member of the community that died suddenly, and they said they wouldn't release this. But I could see, to me, when you're doing like a Kickstarter type-esque thing and you're going to throw additional things out there, you want it to be something special, and you want it to be something that people don't actually need in their collection, but that would be nice, something that's a nice little extra. And I think a Rhaegor version 2 would be a nice extra. There is some stuff in his lore that talks about him, kind of, and how he relates to dragons. So I think a version 2 of Rhaegor would be a perfect unlocked for this campaign.
Yeah, having never had the chance to get Rhaegor, I was not collecting Legions when he came out. I would very much be down for this. Because I mistakenly thought, when we were talking like before the show, I was mistakenly thinking that he was a tribute to like War Duke, because I look at this guy and all I see is War Duke.
And a lot of people think that, yeah. And I think a lot of people did, like when it came out, like they used that as like the War Duke in their collection. But it's actually a tribute to a Legions collector. So
yeah, very nice. I'm glad to have that information. Now, the next unlock is one I think we both agree on. I've already shown this pick off, and I believe this is Bill's pick from Dork Lair. But I liked what you said earlier. You said that it would be nice if this was an add-on, so that everybody had the chance to get it. But, I mean, what better way to make sure that you get this thing funded than to give us this base? And this thing is almost as big as the dragon itself, but my God, this thing looks majestic.
Yeah, if we get this, I think this would be in the what we would call the add-on bucket and not the unlocks or that kind of thing. Because
Included in the price. It's just
right,
too
because
big.
I don't see them being able to give this to us as a free thing with a
Right.
$550 price. I think this would have to
Right.
be separate. I think it would be costly, and I think it would have a certain number that it would have to be made that people would have to order in order for it to work. But I would love this as an add-on. This would be, for me, this would be a must-have. So
Absolutely, 100%. Like, I need this so bad. Trevor says he is based on War Duke, but not a War Duke tribute.
okay, so maybe the person that they made it after, maybe he was really
A War
into
Duke
War
fan.
Duke, and yeah.
Very possible. Hi, Sven. I don't recognize your name, so welcome to the chat. I really appreciate it. What about a dragon egg or baby dragon?
Yeah, that would be cool. I know some people last night, we were talking on Offworld, they said maybe like a pile of gold coins, maybe some different, like Dio type pieces. I know within the Cosmic line, they've given us some crates and little computer equipment and things like that. But we haven't had any of those like accessory pieces within Mythic Legions. We've had, some stuff within Figure Obscura with like the clock and the lanterns and stuff. And so yeah, maybe even some sort of Dio type pieces that would go with this that would make sense.
And then let's see. Beathir gets a tetraderm head. I don't know what a tetraderm is. Somebody tell me.
Yeah.
I know that Elijah loves his dragons. I remember he showed off some last week on New to Mythics that he'd gotten, and they looked really cool. And just having them for figures, like on the figures, would be really, really cool. I just think
one other thing I was thinking at G-Con, one of the figures for the Rise of the Beast wave has a little dragon that she comes with, right? That would be a cool unlock too. If we got like a special little dragon that would be like kind of a side piece to this, that would be awesome.
How about a set of ironically small wings to save some space? Yes.
I did see somebody suggest that it would be cool if where the wings go there, if they had like plugs that could go there, so that if you just wanted this as a kind of a scaled beast that didn't have wings, you could do that to save space, similar to how they do on like the Dragonkin, like Stavros or any of the Rakagor and stuff, where you can take the pauldrons out and plug those pieces in, and it looks like it's just part of the body. So that would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I think all dragon lovers probably fall into these two categories. So I think I heard Guillermo del Toro talking about this when he was first set to direct the Hobbit movies, because Guillermo was going to direct them at first, which is why he's credited as a writer. And he was talking about the design process for Smaug. And he said, I am of the camp that there is no dragon with 4 legs. This does not exist. Dragons are only meant to have 2 back legs, and their front legs are part of the wings. And I think some people refer to them as wyverns and not dragons. But I agree with him. For me, dragons, their front legs are a part of the wings, full stop. This is the first time that I have ever seen somebody create a dragon that's got 4 legs and the wings on the back that I actually love. I love the way this looks. He is so beefy and ferocious. And you know how like when you see like a tiger in person and you see the immensity of like the size of their feet compared to their head, and it just looks so intimidating. That's the vibe I get when I see this. The front legs are nice. These huge feet are scary. Like if that thing swipes you, like you're a mist, dude. Like you're gone. Like, and I love the way this looks. So this is the first time that I've ever looked at a dragon and been like, yeah, I don't want the wings on the front legs. Like I love this. And to me, he already looks beautiful. He's a fantastic piece. You put him on this base. I mean, like it's
a thing of it's just epic for sure. One thing that did come out at G-Con too is that they talked about these 5 pillars, right? And each of the 5 pillars they did confirm are different dragons. So if we get the 5 pillars and we get, if this does well and they continue to do it and we get 4 more dragons, I don't see them putting out 4 more dragons that are exactly like this, but in different colors. So we could very well get what you're talking about, where it does have just the 2 legs in the back and then the wings with kind of the claws on the end. Like we could get that more wyvern style dragon as one of the 5 pillars. I think they're going to, try to get some extra uses out of this tooling, but I don't think we're going to get 5 dragons that use this exact same tooling.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, you're looking at like the necks, the body, the legs and the tail could all be reused, but the wings, most certainly, the head for sure.
Well, and
Yeah,
if
I
that
can't wait to see
middle
what they do.
torso section, if you do away with that middle torso section, and then you do like you're talking about, where you don't have the front legs, you can maybe still use the back portion and then kind of have that go into, and then have the the other wings and stuff. So we'll have to see what those other
Smart.
4 pillars look like, but that all depends on how well this one does. So
No, you're right, dude. I mean, because you're doing this, right? Like you take these, you buy these figures and you pull them apart. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is a connection point below the neck and above at the waist. They can easily replace that middle.
yeah, that section
with something
has
new.
the front legs and has the wings in it. So you take out that middle
Smart.
section, you put in a new
Smart.
section that only has the spot for the wings that have more like the claws at the end and stuff. Yeah, now you've got your wyvern and you're ready to go. So,
And here's what I'm also going to need is when the 2nd and 3rd and 4th dragons are coming out, what I'm going to need them to do is give me a dragon's head pack, where dragon's heads pack, where they've repainted the other heads green. So like if you don't want to buy a second dragon or a third dragon, but you just want that head in green for this one, like I'm going to need that, because I don't know where one dragon's going. I can promise you, unless they make one with the front legs being the wings, I can't see me buying a second dragon. Like,
one other thing that I did want to throw out there as an unlock, it's not one of my picks, but I've seen some people throw it out, which would be kind of cool, is if you're going to get that extra pack, right? You're going to get the extra wings and the flame and effect and the neck and stuff. You're going to end up with an extra head. And I've seen some people say it would be cool to if they had some way to mount that extra head, so you could put it in your display somewhere as if they have slayed a dragon and here is the head that was from it. That would be kind of neat.
Now you got me thinking about how they segmented the dragon purposefully into these parts to where this section could be reused. There's nothing stopping them from giving us a new neck that's got 2 necks for 2 heads.
Yeah.
My God, like that would be incredible. Then you've got 2 heads, you just pop on the two necks, and then you're good to go. Oh my gosh, dude, man, this is incredible. All right, so we're going to talk about. I think we've talked the dragon to death, and you and I probably could sit here for another hour and talking about the dragon.
The one,
you have
one
any
more,
final
one,
thoughts?
Well, yeah, one last thing on this. Actually 2 things. I can't wait to take this apart and do my exploded review where I'm breaking up all the pieces, because I can see some of the articulation points on here, but I know there's going to be other things that come apart that I don't even know about yet. So I can't wait to take this apart and do an exploded view. And number 2, I can't wait to paint it like that. Man, I'm so ready to paint this thing. So,
dude, I guarantee you, yeah, we're going to see Eric Miller paint one of these guys purple and pink and show up at Legion's Con with it. Or I don't know, can he do that anymore? Can he?
Oh yeah, he can still customize for
custom
sure.
paint.
As long as he's not showing off something that he's working on for them too. Like, hey, by the way, here's this thing I did, and also they're going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You guys aren't making a purple and pink. I say purple and pink because he painted like an Arachagor, which is still to this day one of the most gorgeous pieces I've ever seen custom. Like it's like a purple and pink and orange Arachagor. It is. I want that so bad, but I think I'd have to give him one.
I want a Granomir
kind
of pinkish, purplish Granomir style dragon is what that's the one that I'm getting. The first one that comes in, because I'm ordering multiple. The first one that comes in is getting painted up like Granomir. So,
oh, nice. Yeah, absolutely. That would be fantastic. All right. Well, we've done it. We've talked about it. Dude, already you and I this is the longest show we've ever done. I know Greg's going to give me crap about it. He's going to be, oh, of course, you and Curtis had to hit the 2-hour mark. Show me
There's
up.
a lot of news this week. A
lot of news this week, and we had to. I do what I want as long as it doesn't violate the NDA.
There you go.
I love it. But we can't not talk about this because this is huge. This has massive ramifications throughout the toy industry because it could mean a very big potential shakeup. And again, we don't know what we're talking about. We're just shooting the shit here. So let's get into it. But we're going to talk about the idea that, or not the idea, but the news that Mattel has regained the DC license. And what does that mean? Specifically, what does that mean for McFarlane Toys, who currently has the DC license and who, until this morning, I totally forgot about this line, which means this could potentially be ending. And that upsets me. That makes me want to cry. So let's talk about it and what that potentially means. I have always understood that licensing, when it comes to like action figures specifically, has to include scale. It has to include size in the license agreement. There is something in the licensing clause for like Hasbro, for Star Wars in particular, that says no 4-inch scale figures, 3 3/4 or 4-inch scale figures can be action figures if they license it out to someone else. So like Funko Pop. The reason that all Star Wars Funko Pops are bobbleheads is because bobbleheads are considered a collectible and they're not considered an action figure. That's why they don't have regular rotating heads like Funko Pops do. I believe Marvel is starting to get into that because there's a lot of the new Funko Pops with Marvel that are now becoming bobbleheads. Or maybe the old ones were bobbleheads and now they're becoming regular. I don't know how it works with Marvel, but with Star Wars, and they're in that scale, right? They're in that 4-inch scale, so they can't have an articulation point. So I've always heard that, you know, if a license goes out to somebody, it's always like size is included. So, you know, is there a potential here for McFarlane to keep making DC at their 7-inch scale and Mattel to make it at 6 inches? Or would that be too confusing for the market? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I'll share what I know and what I think I know. Okay.
Okay.
What I know is they said in the announcement that Mattel is getting all of DC. They're getting the kids stuff and they're getting the adult stuff. So Mattel went after basically all of it, right?
And now, that's considered a master license, right? They're holding the master license.
Correct. And that starts in 2026. So McFarlane has all the way through the end of the year. So does Spin Master. Now, what Mattel could choose to do, they could say, hey, our plans for DC maybe don't include something like the superpower size line. They could choose to sub-license that out to Mattel or to McFarlane and say, hey, you can keep making superpowers, but we don't want you doing anything in like a 6 or 7-inch scale, right? They could choose to do that, and we'll have to wait and see. So maybe there's still hope for it, but they do basically control all of it starting in 2026. So that's what I know, is that they control the whole thing starting in 2026.
And somebody to that note, I saw somebody in one of the McFarlane groups share on Facebook a piece of information that whenever the license with McFarlane was originally announced, it did say that they were making figures through 2025.
Yeah, so, and that's what, whenever you sign these licensing agreements, it always has an end date, right? Like it's never just, you know, unless you just buy it outright and you then own it. You know, typically it's through a certain date and then it reverts back and so on and so forth. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, like, what does Mattel, because the other thing is that, you know, a little history lesson for folks that may not know this, like, you know, Mattel was doing the DC before, and they basically scrapped Masters of the Universe, right? They were doing the classics, and they were like, hey, we're not really getting anything out of Masters anymore. We really want to focus our efforts over here. And they gave that up and gave it to Super 7, right? Super 7 was making that stuff for a while. Well, then they lost the DC license in 1999 to McFarlane, and they said, oh crap, we have nothing to put in the toy aisle. Like, we've got Barbie stuff for the girls, but we have nothing in the boys aisle. And they went and kind of swooped, you know, Masters of the Universe back, and we started seeing Origins and Masterverse and New Eternia. And now you go to your toy stores and you see a ton of Masters in the toy aisle that we had not had for many, many years. So a couple things with this is, what happens to those things now? Do they shrink that section of Masters in order to get some DC stuff out? Do they do away with Masters and say, hey, we're going to cut down on some of these lines, or make it to where you can only buy it through, you know, the Mattel Creations? Like, what happens to Motu? That's another question out there too that I'm not sure what's going to happen with.
Let me interject there, because this may shed some light on it. I don't know if you know this or not, but this week Mattel launched a brand new Club Grayskull through Mattel Creations. It's a subscription service, just like Hasbro Pulse, but it's not nearly as expensive. Instead of $50 like Hasbro, it is $9.99 for the year. And you get early access to sales. You get access to exclusive figures that'll only be sold through that membership process. It didn't say that they were only doing Origins or the Filmation Classics, the cartoon collection. This could also include the Masterverse and then the Revelations figures. So maybe that's exactly what they're doing, is that they're going to start creating a new avenue for you to get your figures. They already sell a fair number of Masters figures, the special ones, through their site right now. Like the only way I got Rio Blast a couple of weeks ago is it was only on sale on Mattel Creations. So they're already doing that. So maybe what you're talking about is they know they're going to have to shrink their Masters section in stores to get ready for DC stuff. So they're creating this other avenue. And to supplement that, they're going to charge us for it. Now, I would much rather pay $10 a year than $50 like Hasbro. That's but it's Hasbro being Hasbro, you know? So maybe you're exactly correct.
And it'll be interesting to see what moves to that Club Grayskull, like online purchasing, and what stays in stores. Like, do they choose to maybe leave Origins in stores because it is something that appeals to kids more as well as adult collectors, and maybe like the New Eternia and Masterverse goes online? Or does all of it go online? Like, we really don't have these answers yet, because we don't know what their plans are for Masters, and we don't know what their plans are for DC. We just know it's a shakeup, you know? So
yeah. And the flip side of that, as we were talking earlier, McFarlane, it is rumored that he is going after the Marvel license from Hasbro, because now Hasbro has announced that they're becoming sort of like an entertainment group, and they're going to sort of license out these properties. So, it's Marvel Legends on the chopping block. We've heard that, the Marvel Legends team has said, we've already got all the way through 2026 planned. Does that mean after 2026, they're not going to be producing Marvel Legends anymore? Does that mean that they kind of know that this is coming? Todd's going to need something to fill that space. He cannot rely on simply these movie maniacs that he's putting out, which are not maniacs at all. I mean, you've got Ted Lasso and the dude from Big Lebowski. These aren't maniacs. He's got his sports line that he's really focusing on now. He just brought back the Metal Legends, so like all these icons of rock, like that's coming back out. So like
they just showed some Mortal Kombat that he's doing as well. So that's out there. But yeah, that's not going to be the aisle space that he's doing right now for DC. So he's definitely now, did Todd intentionally give up this DC license so that he could focus on something else? Or did this just happen and now he's scrambling? One way or another, Todd's going to fill his space with something. We just don't know what that is yet. And the speculation is, yes, that he's really wanting Marvel and Hasbro. I don't think Hasbro minds making toys that they own the license for, like G.I. Joe. They because they're making all the profits. What they don't like is making toys and then having to send part of the profits to somebody that that owns that property. Like, they don't like that. So, and the contracts are definitely coming up for Marvel and for Star Wars. And so it's like, what does that mean? If Hasbro wants out of Marvel and they want out of Star Wars, who potentially could get those, and what does that mean for collectors? So
yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to hang on to G.I. Joe and Transformers because they have that license too, and that they own the master license for that. So those will stick around
as long as they're not paying licensing fee to somebody else. I think they're good with making toys, but they're done giving a percentage of their profits to somebody else.
Right, and also like I would, yeah, man, Star Wars Black Series is like a whole other dude. I could be here for an hour with them. Like,
yeah.
I don't know who is screwing that up. I don't know if it's Lucasfilm holding the reins too tight. I don't know if it's Hasbro. But first of all, I know that anytime you see the Hasbro Black Series team, the Star Wars team, come on screen in one of their live shows, which they just did, they all look like hostage videos. Like they look like somebody is right off screen, like ready to like take them down. And like you said, they're just like, yeah. And then next we have Luke Skywalker from A New Hope. Like they're terrified. And the fans are not nice because Star Wars fans are the worst. They're horrible. And I'm one of them. And I'll say that nobody hates Star Wars as much as Star Wars fans. So, dude, yeah, I don't know. This is a potentially huge shakeup. I collect Batman. Like Batman's I have a shrine of Batman. I'll collect anything from Batman that anybody makes. But I was kind of upset that Todd went 7-inch. I'm like, really, dude? Like you looked at the whole market is 6-inch, and you went, let's give him another inch. Like, dude, really? Why?
Well, I will say, I don't expect Mattel to do 7-inch. I expect that. And if Todd gets Marvel, I don't expect him to do 6-inch, because here's the thing. If they get these lines and they're starting fresh, they don't want it to fit in with the other stuff you have. They want you to buy all new stuff, right? So they don't want to put out a new Wolverine that fits with your Marvel Legends Cyclops. They want you to buy a new Wolverine from them and buy a Cyclops. And so they're going to come out with a whole different scale that only works with their own. At least that would be my thought with that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with this stuff. I mean, Star Wars, is it something that we just don't see in the toy aisle? I mean, it's been decades since we haven't had Star Wars in the toy aisle, but is that era over? Like, do kids even care about Star Wars anymore? Right. And
look, and here's the thing. I love Star Wars more almost than anything else. I mean, it's my favorite IP next to Lord of the Rings. It's I love it. I've loved it since I was a kid. It is always going to be my favorite IP. But here's the thing. I am not interested. I've probably got 300 Black Series. I'm going to start over. I don't want to go back to square one. At this point, whoever gets the license, whoever starts making the new 6-inch Star Wars, if that even happens, if it's not continued by Hasbro, at this point, I'm going to get 1 or 2 characters. Like, oh, is this a Luke? I'll get a Luke. Is that a Vader? I'll get a Vader. But I'm not starting over. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to start over. What do you think? One last thing, and then we'll move on, because we got to wrap this up. We're almost hitting the 2-hour mark.
Like I said, I got nothing going on, man. I'm good.
What do you think the thought process is behind Hasbro, the Marvel team, if potentially they're going to be losing Marvel in the next year or two? What do you think the thought process behind creating this Maximum series for $50? Like, why jump in at the end of the line and give us deluxe figures for $50? Like, then why do that?
I mean, the license isn't up yet. It may be a way for them to kind of test the waters and see how much they can actually get out of people, and see if it's worth, maybe it's worth still paying Disney for the licensing fees if we can get this maximum profit from these figures and sell these things that we're paying, pennies for, and sell them for $50, and people are silly enough to buy them. Like,
that's actually the better name for them. It's Marvel Legends Maximum Profit series.
Yeah. Like, and that might be it. And I know they just launched this campaign that they're calling like Play to Win. That is like the most like we're trying to get your money campaign I've ever heard. But like the other thing that we haven't really talked about with Hasbro is the unexpected income that they've gotten from D&D, from specifically Baldur's Gate 3. So like they had certain expectations for that game in the first year. And then, typically the way that games work is in the second year, it drops off. Well, Baldur's Gate didn't. It picked up, and they had a certain number expectation they had on it that was like, I can't remember. It was like something like 15, 20 million. Then they raised it to 30 million. They raised it again to 35 million, and they ended up making $60 million this past year on Baldur's Gate 3. And so they're looking at that going, wow, D&D, especially on the video game side, is super profitable. How can we do more of this? Because we're not
capitalizing on it too. Because they're sinking a lot of money now on their new, was it D&D? Is it called? I don't know. It's called Beyond, like where you play online, and they're revamping that whole system and sinking a ton of money.
Yeah, and they're selling things like virtual dice and stuff like that. Like they're able to make money on stuff that you're not having to physically make. You're not paying for tooling. You're not paying for shipping. You're not paying like they're selling virtual stuff and raking in money and going, hey, this is nice. We like this.
Yeah. Wizards of the Coast, Magic, like all of that is just making so much money for them.
Yeah. So I think you're going to see them doing a lot more of that stuff and less of the, physical stuff in the toy aisle. So, but yeah, this may be, as far as like the Spider-Man that you're talking about and stuff, it may be a last ditch effort to say, okay, if we just really try to turn up the profit on these figures and sell these at a huge markup, will people pay it? Is this still worth paying the licensing if we can get $50 for a figure instead of $25? And you know what? Since it's sold out, maybe it is. Maybe people will pay whatever the heck they put out there, which is just sad, but maybe the reality. So
yeah, unfortunately, sorry, Terrence. At the end of the day, it's just a Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
So with that, we are at the 2-hour mark. We broke the 2-hour goal. Greg is going to be furious that it was not with him. And I'm never going to.
He made it on for a good portion of the show. Yeah,
dude, they stuck around for you, Greg. They stuck around for you. He's
there you go.
So mad at me. There's going to be a domestic tonight. So all right, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Curtis, dude, thank you so very much for doing this, for coming on.
Anytime, man. I love this show too. Folks, if you're tuning in for the first time, I know he said a few people in the chat, he said first time you're seeing this name and that name. This is the best. Don't look at this episode because I was here and I was kind of ruining it. But I'm telling you, normally, not this episode, but normally this is the best show on YouTube. Tune in every Saturday morning. See Mark, see Greg. They put on a great show. You're going to love it. So
we try our best, man. We try our best. Right now the world is on fire. And when we were on, we're all roughly about the same age. And when we were kids, it was just a beautiful time. We didn't know how crazy things were. We weren't aware of that. We had toys. We lived in our imaginations. We played in our backyard. And I want to recapture some of that before, I'm 48. I'm about on the back half of this thing. So I want to recapture some of that. So yeah, that's what we try to put back out there. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. We got 17 people in the chat. Thank you, everybody who joined us today. We had a big show. We had a lot to get through, and we did it. And we now can go and take a breather and have some lunch. So thank you, guys. We'll see you in the toy aisles, and we'll catch you.